Muchas gracias, Kim, por estar con nosotros. Es un placer que puedas acompañarnos en nuestro evento Go Mastermind. Me siento emocionado. Te decía hace un momento que tus libros nos han cambiado la vida, nos han cambiado la forma de pensar, nos han sacado de las deudas, nos han convertido en emprendedores. Y bueno, el día de hoy estamos en esta gran profesión que es el mercadeo en red. Y quiero hacerte algunas preguntas para que puedas ayudarnos a resolver todas estas emociones que vamos teniendo en el camino del emprendimiento y puedas darnos esa fortaleza para seguir creciendo.
Oh, thank you, Alexis. Thank you for having me on, and I'm excited about the Go Mastermind event in November. And I'm a big proponent of network marketing, and especially given these times, because these are crazy times. Network marketing can actually be one of the best opportunities going today all over the world. So I'm really honored to be here talking with you today about the opportunities, about network marketing, about entrepreneurship. I've been an entrepreneur for 37 years. I've had successes, failures, made tons and tons of mistakes. So looking forward to this time with you, Alexis.
Oye, muchas gracias, Kim. Mira, tenemos unas preguntas para ti. En principio, quiero que sepas que tenemos en nuestro negocio muchas mujeres que son emprendedoras, que están construyendo algo grande en sus vidas. Sin embargo, también tenemos madres solteras, tenemos personas que son casadas, algunas amas de casa, ¿no? Algunas personas profesionales, empresarias, mujeres que incluso todavía están dependiendo de sus ingresos, ¿no? De un trabajo o del esposo, ¿no? Entonces, ¿qué mensaje tú le podrías dar a todas esas mujeres valiosas en este mundo del
Oh,
emprendimiento,
that's
Kim?
a wonderful question. That's like the $1 million question. I can just speak from my own experience. Ever since I was young, money has the power to enslave us, and money has the power to set us free. I never wanted to be dependent upon somebody for my financial life, my financial well-being, because I felt that that would keep me trapped. And I wanted to be very free to live the life I wanted to live. That being said, it's tricky sometimes in marriages and relationships. And I encourage women, ideally in the network marketing industry, this is something you can do together, learn together, grow together. And if you're not going to do the business with your spouse or your significant other, learning about money together is very, very important. I would think both parties would want to have um, the knowledge and the security of knowing that if something were to happen to the other person, that the other person would be taken care of. So money is a very psychotic subject. There's a lot of energy, a lot of emotion attached to it. So the more you can take that emotion out and just look at the facts and understand this is where we are, the better you can be.
Wow, muchísimas gracias, Kim. Tengo otra pregunta muy importante. La profesión del network marketing tiene personas que están de acuerdo con la profesión del network marketing y hay personas que no están de acuerdo, o sea, como que detractores se podrían decir, ¿no? ¿Cuál es tu punto de vista sobre la profesión del network marketing?
Wonderful question. So the network marketing profession is not for everybody. It is not. But if you're interested in business, and especially if you're starting out in business, I was in network marketing. A lot of people don't know that. Early on, I was in network marketing, and I learned more about business in that year and a half I was in network marketing than I learned well more than 4 years of business college. So it's a great training program. What I like about the network marketing industry is that there's three types of education. There's in the world of money, there's three types of education. There's financial education, there's business education, and there's personal development. They all intermingle in order to be successful. I don't think you can be successful with just financial and business education. You need that personal development as well. What I love about network marketing is you got real teachers. You've got people, mentors teachers who have been there, done that, and they are mentoring you through this process of becoming a successful business person. And I love that. You also have the systems in place. When I started out in business, I had no systems in place. Matter of fact, there was no internet. We were doing it, mail and all of this. So now you've got the internet, but you also have this system already in place. The foundation is there. You don't have to worry about how to, you're going to learn sales. You're going to learn relationship. You're going to learn marketing. You're going to learn all of that, but you have a system already in place, an infrastructure that you do not have to build. You don't have to build the inventory. You don't have to build all the accounting. You don't have to build all the production schedules, all of that. It's already in place. So I think for me, I learned a lot about business, a lot about sales. I mean, if I didn't sell, I didn't eat. And it was one of the best educations I could have gotten in the world of business. And then from there, I went on and started my first business and kept building businesses as I went. But the most important thing I think you have in the network marketing industry is that those real teachers who are going to teach you the fundamentals. They're also, the really great companies will also work with the personal development side, because fear comes up, anxiety comes up, things that you want to quit come up, because sometimes it's difficult and uncomfortable. And if you can manage that, oh my gosh, you can be so successful in the world of business.
Gracias, Kim. Sí, en realidad es muy, muy valioso tus consejos. Yo quería comentarte de que en el mundo del emprendimiento, o sea, cuando uno está comenzando, siempre uno tiene ese miedo, ¿no? Ese temor a hacer las cosas, o da miedo a fracasar, tal vez. ¿Cómo podemos superar ese momento, ese miedo al comenzar? Entonces, ¿tener miedo es bueno, es malo?
Fear is a real thing. And that's why we always say start small, because I think the number one fear people have is making a mistake and looking stupid. So for example, when I bought my very first real estate property, it was a little 2-bedroom, 1-bath house. I had the fear of making mistakes. I fear of losing money. What if the tenant moved out? What are my friends going to say? What if it's a disaster and I fail? So you've got all that going on in your mind. So I always say start small and take baby steps, because if you start small, you're going to make mistakes. That's how we learn. We make mistakes. That's how we learn. And then we learn from the mistake and we get smarter. That's how real learning happens. It doesn't happen by reading a textbook, by studying online. It's about going out there and doing the real thing. And sometimes that's uncomfortable, especially with sales, because sales also, you get a lot of rejection. But again, that's where this becomes stronger and stronger. So I like to start small, take baby steps, and then you grow and grow and grow and grow and learn from there. If I started out with a 100-unit apartment building, I would have been a huge failure, because I don't know how to operate. I didn't know how to operate a 100-unit apartment building. So I started with a little 2-bedroom house. So you start small and you build and you build, and just at some point, I hate making mistakes. But I know when I make a mistake, I get excited, because a mistake just shows me something I didn't know. So I know by making the mistake and looking at it and learning from it, I'm going to get smarter. So again, you've got a bit of a safety net in the network marketing industry, because you've got these people that have been there and done that, and you're kind of walking in their shoes as well. So the fear, I don't know that it ever goes away, because you keep taking on bigger and bigger projects. I have a fitness trainer, and he says, you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable, because if you're going to grow, you got to stretch yourself, and to stretch yourself, you've got to get out of your comfort zone. And when you get out of your comfort zone and then you succeed, that's where the big ahas and breakthroughs, and that's where the great learning comes from. That's where real growth happens. So fear can be, I never want to allow fear to stop me. And I have to manage the fear going forward, knowing that I'm going to go into uncomfortable situations and I'm going to make mistakes. And you know what? I'm going to get smarter.
Wow, muchísimas gracias, Kim. Ahora quisiera hacerte otra pregunta, ¿no? Tenemos muchas mujeres que están trabajando con nosotros, pero el problema de la baja autoestima puede hacer, ¿cómo podemos mejorar ese tema de la baja autoestima para que puedan tener éxito en los negocios?
Boy, that again. I mean, for me, it's so there's different ways of learning. The second best way of learning in terms of retaining what you learn is by simulation. So games, that's why Robert and I created the cash flow board game, because we wanted people to experience it before going out there and spending their money. They play a game to simulate the real thing. The best way to learn is by doing the real thing. So for me, the only way my confidence was built was, again, taking small steps and taking action, and then small steps and
Mm.
taking action. So I'll just share with you one thing I've been studying recently, and it comes out of neuroscience. And we actually, some women and I put this into a program, and it's all about how real transformation happens, how real change happens. And I used to think it was 2 steps. It's actually 4 steps. And the first step for transformation is you get information. So you go out there and you learn something, or you read about something, or somebody tells you something, you go attend a seminar, attend a lecture, you get some information. The next step is then you take action. And I always thought those were the 2 most important steps. Anytime you take action, you have feedback. So if I smile at you and you smile back, that's feedback. If you touch a hot stove and burn your finger, that's action and feedback. So once you take an action, so let's say you're starting out in Go Mastermind, and your first sale, they say no. And you go, that's feedback. So what didn't I do? What did I do right? What didn't I do? What can I do better? And then you go out there, so that's the feedback. Every action has feedback, and you've got it. That's one of the most important things, is to pay attention to the feedback. Because sometimes we go, oh, I failed. Oh, I'm not going to do anything else. No, there's feedback. And that's where the real learning and value is. And then the fourth step is called incubation. And incubation is where it's kind of internalizes. It's your time for yourself. It might be meditation. It might be a walk in the park, a walk in the woods. It might be you just sitting by yourself journaling. It's time where you take the learning and kind of incorporate it into your being. So if you can think about those 4 steps, every time you get some information, you take action, the action gives you feedback, and then you can incubate it and kind of make it part of you. That's how change happens. And that's where a woman's self-confidence will come up, because you take those small steps and you take those actions, you're gonna make progress, and you're gonna learn. So I'm a huge proponent of doing the real thing, of getting out there and taking action, not talking, not just studying. Matter of fact, reading a book and going to a lecture is one of the worst ways to actually retain learning. You get that information and then you go do something with it, and that's where your self-esteem will skyrocket. That's what worked for me.
Wow, muchísimas gracias, Kim. Sí, es una emoción escucharte, en verdad, que ver cómo estás enseñando a las personas a poder cambiar su estilo de vida y obviamente tener estas herramientas ayudan al crecimiento de las personas, ¿no? Yo personalmente también he tenido muchos problemas de baja autoestima, ¿no? Y eso viene ya desde que uno es pequeño, pero con todas estas ideas, pues nos ayudas a fortalecer ese conocimiento. Kim, ¿y cómo podríamos nosotros como emprendedores, sabiendo que tenemos un cierto ingreso, tal vez no sea mucho ingreso residual que le llamamos acá, cómo podríamos invertir nuestro dinero y tiempo sobre todo, ¿no? Que son dos cosas importantes en la vida.
Mm, great question. We,
No,
we're huge
no puedo
proponents
pasar la
of
lámina.
education, financial education, business education. I think a lot of people say, well, should I, if I start a business, should I start put my effort on the business, or should I put my effort in investing? And what Robert and I did is our formula was, we built our business. We focused on building the business. And once the business got strong and the cash flow started flowing, then the cash flow from our business bought our assets and our investments. So I'm always a big proponent of building the business first, really, because it takes a lot of energy and a lot of attention. So build that business first, get that strong, because that's going to be a great asset for you. Your business will be a huge asset for you if you put the time and the focus on. We are lifelong learners. We never stop learning, always seeking out people that know more than we do, reading books, attending seminars, things like that. because the times are changing so quickly, as we all know, crazy times. And so to keep up, and with the internet, information is so accessible, but then you've got to weed through it to figure out what information do I want to put in here and what information do I not want to put in here? What teachers do I want to get my information from, and which teachers do I not want to get my information from? So again, we're big proponents of learning, putting it into practice, build the business first and get that strong and get the cash flow from your business, then buys your assets. One other thing I want to say about these times that we're in right now, because the future is so fuzzy and we're not sure which way, and this is every country almost throughout the world. And it's like we are in an emergency right now. We're in emergency. And if you look at the root word of emergency, it's emerge. So out of an emergency can come great opportunities, or you can just sit back and be a victim of it. So we look at emergency as this is an opportunity to emerge. What is needed and wanted? What can I do differently than I'm doing now? Because many people are forced to do things differently because of situations and the environment. So now is an opportunity. It could be your greatest opportunity, or it could be your greatest failure. So I want to look at this as this is a great time to start thinking differently, to start seeking out new teachers, seeking out new information, because this is the time where it's a make or break opportunity.
Excelente, Kim, muchas gracias. Cuando hablamos de mentalidad, ¿no? Mentalidad, cuando hablamos de metas y de productividad, sobre todo en mercadeo en red, porque aquí las personas a veces lo hacen a medias o a veces hay personas que quieren lograr resultados rápidos. ¿Cómo podríamos o qué nos aconsejas para ser más productivos, tener una mentalidad ganadora?
That's a big question. I'll just say this to your point, Alexis. I don't know anybody personally or that I've read about who has become very, very successful, who has not put in the hard work. To build a business, to be an entrepreneur, it's hard work. And the rewards are greater than anything I could have imagined. So is it worth it? Absolutely worth it. I had the funny thought when I first started as an entrepreneur, oh, I can work my own hours. I don't have to work. I don't have to be 9 to 5. I can do this. No. When it's your business, it takes everything you've got to make it successful. It's one of the reasons for when you talk about mindset, Alexis, there's got to be a great purpose. There's got to be a big purpose for you and your business. So for example, we always say that the purpose of an entrepreneur, the purpose of a business is to solve a problem. So for us, the problem we saw was that there was no financial education in the school system worldwide. So we set out to solve that problem, and we created the cash flow game, and then Robert wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And that was the problem we solved. But the purpose of our business, the mission of our business, and this is what keeps you going, and this is where the mindset is so important. The mission of our business at the Rich Dad Company is to elevate the financial well-being of humanity. That's been our purpose, our mission since 1986. It has not changed. And because of that, when things get tough, when you want to quit, when you hit a setback, you hit an obstacle, you hit that brick wall, you keep that big purpose in your mind and keep it in the forefront of your mind. And that's what will keep you going. If your purpose is to just make money, you're going to quit. It's not a big enough purpose. To make an extra $5,000 a month, not a big purpose. And you'll come up with every reason why this is too hard. Oh, they're being too demanding on me. Oh, I just can't do this. I'm not smart enough. You'll come up with all the reasons, because when you get in uncomfortable situations and when you have to work so hard, you want to find a reason to quit. So that reason why, I call it the reason why you're doing this has got to be bigger than making money. It's got to be bigger than just you and your family, to be honest. It's got to be something that is going to keep you going. It's going to drive you forward when times are tough. That's what we do. That's what we've done. One side note, is a couple of years ago, the business under different management, a business gets successful, it's easy for the mission to get trampled on. And that's what was happening at the Rich Dad Company. And the mission went from elevating the financial well-being of humanity to making a lot of money. The mission was making money. And of course, with that being the mission, we made very little money. And so we jumped back in. I was out of the business, jumped back into the business, went back to the mission. And part of the mission that, and this I'm sure, Alexis, is true for you and for the people that Go Mastermind, part of our mission is the more people we serve, the more effective we become. So we never focus, money is very important, but that's never our number one driving goal. It's always to serve more people. The more people we serve, the more effective we become. If we focus on that and educating, then whether we win or lose doesn't matter because we're doing what we set out to do.
Sí, es más, te cuento, te cuento, Kim, que, bueno, cuando yo no sabía de los libros de ustedes, de Robert Kiyosaki tuyos, no conocíamos, mis deudas estaban pues tremendas, ¿no? No sabía qué hacer. La empresa que teníamos ya estaba quebrada, estábamos con problemas, teníamos miedo, mucho miedo, no sabíamos cómo resolverlo. Y en ese camino, el primer libro que yo leí fue Jubílate joven y rico. Ese fue un libro que me dio esperanza, ¿no? Luego me llevó a Escuela de Negocios, luego me llevó a Padre Rico, Padre Pobre, llegamos a Es hora de emprender el vuelo, o sea, fueron herramientas que calaron fuerte en nosotros y nos organizó. O sea, la misión se cumplió finalmente con nosotros porque ahora somos un testimonio de que esa lectura nos ha cambiado la vida, ¿no? Y les agradecemos mucho por compartir ese conocimiento y estamos igual como tú mencionas, de la mano, apoyando a que las personas puedan ahorrar tiempo. No queremos que pierdan mucho tiempo. Quiero que ahorren tiempo y que puedan salir adelante y seguir creciendo. Bueno, Kim, esta es una última pregunta. Para ti me gustaría que nos puedas contar qué nos traes para el Go Mastermind. ¿Qué mensaje nos tienes para el Go Mastermind?
Well, thank you, Alexis. First of all, I also want to thank you for furthering the mission to all of the people that you work with. It's very, very important. We want our mission to spread as much as possible. It's why we originally created the cash flow board game, because that game can travel to places all over the world that Robert and I will never get to, and people teaching people. And when you mentioned the books, I think one of the most important books that Robert wrote, especially for your organization, for Go Mastermind, is called Cash Flow Quadrant. And Cash Flow Quadrant talks about the 4 types of people in the world of business. It's E, S, B, and I. E stands for employee. That's you working for somebody else. S stands for